Hi there, I'm Etty Hillesum. Welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to review or share with you a book that I recently finished that's really moved and touched me. It's the Diary of Etty Hillesum. And it's one of these books that have really affected me in a very deep and profound way. And I read a lot of books and I enjoy a lot of books, but this will sort of hold a really special place in my heart. Now, just to explain a little bit about what the book's about and who she is, I'll just read the back part. For the first time, Etty Hillesum's diary and letters appeared together to give us the fullest possible portrait of this extraordinary woman. In the darkest years of Nazi occupation and genocide, Etty Hillesum remained a celebrant of life whose lucid intelligence, sympathy, and almost impossible gallantry were themselves a form of inner resistance. The adult counterpart to Anne Frank, Hillesum's testifies to the possibility of awareness and compassion in the face of the most devastating challenges to one's humanity. She died in Auschwitz in 1943 at the age of 29. And there's a review, a story of spiritual growth that I've seldom seen anywhere, written with the interior richness and woven designs of a Jamesian novel, a marvelous gift. So this is the book here. Now, prior to this, I'd read a lot of her quotes, which are very beautiful, and I'd come across a couple of lectures about her, and so I kind of had an overview of who she was, and hearing her kind of quotes individually, were very profound and beautiful, but I really wanted to kind of read them within the context of kind of her diary. What I found with this book is, first of all, it's very intimate in the sense of, I don't know whether she imagined people were going to read this one day, but it begins, she's 27, she's in Holland, in Amsterdam, and the sort of spectre of Nazism, I think by then Holland's occupied, and so there's this awareness of kind of what's coming. But most to begin with, what she writes about is her own ambitions, her own thoughts and feelings. She starts psychotherapy with this Jungian analysis, and they have this kind of intense relationship. She ends up involved with him. This is back in a different time, and it's a lot of introspection and a lot of again, very lucid, very intelligent, very thoughtful. She's a woman who really thinks about things a lot and has a lot of depth to her in terms of her understanding of herself and the world. But as you're reading it, the ending, you know what's going to happen. So there's this kind of foreboding dread I'm feeling as I'm reading it. Particularly, she talks about her future and what she'd like to do, and maybe where she'd like to be, or how she imagines herself growing old. All these kind of longings and dreams that all of us have, that you realize, well, this is going to be cut short in a brutal and just reprehensible kind of way. So as I was reading it, particularly halfway through, I had to put it down for a few days. I was getting genuinely upset, and there was even a few days where I just felt myself crying. There was this kind of sadness and awareness of just the horror of it on one level, and here's this woman that's about to be murdered brutally for nothing, just for the crime of being that person. It could be blue eyes or green hair or whatever. It's just such an arbitrary measure, her Jewishness, and that's it. So I had to put it down for a few days and just kind of breathe a little. But then I was drawn, obviously, to pick it back up. And what was interesting about the kind of the movement of the book, how the worse things get, they start having to wear the red star, they can't travel on tram. It's like there's an awareness of it, they're being pressed in on more and more, to the point where they're putting this transit camp. Her insights and the profundity of her understanding of her relationship to the divine, to God, to compassion, to love and meaning gets stronger. So as I'm kind of freaking out and feeling worse for her, she's having these understandings of life that transcend that, and in a way that's so eloquently written and so beautiful in the way they're worded. It's just, it's humbling to read. At various opportunities, she has the chance to escape, she obviously have a lot of non-Jewish friends that really care about her and feel like she's brilliant, and they really want her to, to hide or to escape, and she just refuses these offers. She leans into what's occurring in such a way. It's so powerful. So then, you read it all the way through. She ends up on a train heading to Auschwitz. From my understanding, she didn't die immediately, which kind of like that kind of, knowing that if she'd just got there and like many of the people, died unknowingly, they're told having a shower and then they die, and just the panic of at least 10 minutes maybe. But she's there for a few more months. Maybe at the age she was, they felt relatively healthy people were put to work and then she dies a couple of months later. So, like, it's not a light read, it's not an easy read, but it's a beautiful read. And it's a beautiful testament to where we can come to inside ourselves. And I think that's the thing that she communicates so well and so lucidly, is that there's something about the stance we take and the position we take that we have freedom over, and we can't determine what happens out there, we can't determine what happens to us or to others, but we can align ourselves with and take a position inside ourselves which is loving, which is meaningful, which is infused with compassion and kindness. And this is a thing in her where she communicates regularly, like, I refused to hate the Germans, and I refused to kind of become bitter. And it's not to say that there weren't moments there where you could feel her anger and her hurt and her just utterly the disturbing nature of what's occurring, particularly towards the end when she's in the transition camp where they round everyone up in inverted commas and send them off on the train. The brutality of it, it's all there. So she's witnessing this in this way that's very honest and very direct, but there's like a space inside of her that appears to be connected to something so profound and so unaffected. And this is she writes about how people are constantly trying to get out of the clutches of the Nazis, and she has this insider understanding that they can't take this thing that's in me. So where I take hope in this, and where I take, particularly with the world the way that it is, and all of I guess on one level that's just the normal level of craziness, but it feels particularly acute at the moment. That if she can foster that and hold true to that in the face of that, then I can do that too. I can come back to that. I can remind and remember to myself that this love that I hold in my heart, this care that I have, is my only refuge. It's my only light. It's my only assurance and safety in this world, is the refuge of the love that I have for others and the love that I carry inside myself. And with that, then the nurturing of that, the developing of that, that's all we have. And I can do that. That's a doable thing. That's a thing I can come back to. That's in me already. So I would recommend, if you're interested in exploring these themes and being taken on a journey, and you are definitely taken on a journey with her, of a powerful, haunting, disturbing, beautiful journey, I would recommend you get this book and have a read.